Hello everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of Dayspring Discussions. I'm your host, Sean McGahee, and this is a show where we talk about movies, TV, sci-fi, fantasy, comic books. If you geek out about it, we're going to talk about it. You can listen to Dayspring Discussions on iTunes, YouTube, Podomatic, and Patreon, and contact Dayspring Discussions on the Facebook group, Twitter account, and dayspringdiscussions@gmail.com. Well, happy Tuesday, everyone. It's a little chilly here in Austin, considering we've had a couple of warm days, but we are back. That's right. I didn't do any podcast last week. I do apologize. Bit of a weird week. My work schedule was a little different. I had a couple of events come up, so I didn't have the opportunity to do anything last week. But I'm back now. It's been, 12 days? Almost 2 weeks. A lot has happened in the world of geekdom. So today's show, I'm going to run down as much as I can in the time constraints that I have. Whatever I don't get to, I think I'll probably be able to do another one on Thursday, and we'll kind of go from there. So starting off, of course, the biggest news that came out was the Avengers Infinity War trailer. So a new trailer for Avengers Infinity War dropped on Friday morning, as well as pre-sale tickets for the movie, which I kind of figured was going to happen. I warned my wife ahead of time that I was going to be purchasing tickets Friday morning because I figured that's what Disney and Marvel were going to do. So I've already got my tickets set for the Friday the 27th. Thursday, we actually have something to do, me and my wife Lisa. So I'm not going to get to that first screening like I wanted. So I'm going to do it on Friday and Saturday. So I'm going to do double showings. And, of course, that Sunday, I'll be out with our review. But I'm super excited. Just looking at the trailer right now, I can't believe how awesome it looks. I mean, the style of it. And, again, Thanos looks so good, so menacing. I'm really anxious to see what they're going to do with all of it. You got all the heroes coming together, as well as Guardians of the Galaxy. So just going through the trailer just a little bit. You got Thanos collecting the Infinity Stones. Gamora's kind of giving a warning to everyone about this character, about who he is and what he's capable of. You got the shot in there with Loki basically giving Thanos, I think, the cube. And the fan theory now is that he gives Thanos the cube in order to save Thor. From the trailer, it's what it looks like. And then, of course, all the other stuff. Now, whether he's able to collect all the stones and continues to Avengers 4, I don't know. Again, shots from the trailer. I'm just kind of briefly looking at it here, guys, as I'm talking. Star-Lord, of course, him and Tony Stark, probably the highlight for me, just because I love Star-Lord. Him and Captain America are my favorite characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, along with Daredevil, but that's the Netflix shows, and that really doesn't count. But I love that part with Star-Lord and Iron Man. Good shot. A lot of good shots. Looks like we got the battle for Wakanda coming up there, too. A lot of stuff been going on. I'm just super, super excited for this film. I have no idea really how it's going to go. I hope it's super sweaty. And I just, as a guy who reads comic books, a guy who has been excited for this moment ever since the end of the first Avengers movie, I just can't wait to see it. I mean, it's going to be awesome. Even if it's not awesome, it's going to be super fun to watch. Kind of like the Justice League movie. It wasn't great, but having all the characters together, watching them interact, watching them fight, it was just fun to watch. So that comes out April 27th, and you can be sure I'm going to be talking about it from here till then. Another trailer that dropped while I was away was the sequel to Fantastic Beasts, The Crimes of Grindelwald. The film comes out November 16th. I was trying to get Lisa on to do a review of both this and the Avengers Infinity War trailer. Of course, the weekend got away from us, mainly because it was St. Patty's and we were out having a good time. But I thought I'd just talk briefly about this as well. Again, just watching the trailer, you can see they started off going to Hogwarts, which I think was a smart move because, of course, reminding people that may not have seen Fantastic Beasts or maybe felt like it was not as Harry Potter-ish as they wanted to be. You start off with the trailer, going to Hogwarts, going to find Dumbledore and talking to him about his student Newt Scamander. Jude Law playing a younger Dumbledore in this one. I gotta say it's a little iffy for me just because I'm used to Dumbledore being this old Obi-Wan type guy, and to see him as a younger character, Jude Law, much like the first time you saw Ian McGregor as a younger Obi-Wan, kind of a bit jarring, but in any event, this one it looks like Newt and Dumbledore are hunting down Grindelwald, played by Johnny Depp, going to Paris. You got all the other characters from the first one in there. I think it's going to be entertaining. Again, I like the Harry Potter world. I like the Wizarding World. As you can see in that trailer too, they put the logo Wizarding World on there, so I think that's really what they're going to go with from now on when it comes to this world and these films. I liked Fantastic Beasts, but I don't like kind of what they're doing in the story where Grindelwald, him and Dumbledore were friends, and Dumbledore's hunting him down. I get it, but I'd rather have seen their friendship first. Also in the trailer, you got glimpses of Ezra Miller is back in this film. People thought he died in the first movie. Not true. Looks like he's back with a bunch of other new characters. Of course, you have your Fantastic Beasts in there as well. I just really don't know what to expect. And to be honest, I really don't care. Like I said, I like the franchise. I like the world, but I'm not a big fan of it. Lisa, on the other hand, is a huge fan of the Harry Potter or Wizarding World, as you call it, which is why I wanted her on to talk about this. It looks excited. I'm excited for it. Of course, we're going to be there that opening weekend to watch it. Hopefully you guys will too. Fire back on the social media account and Gmail account. Let me know, are you excited for Crimes of Grindelwald? And just what do you think is going to happen in Avengers Infinity War based on the trailer that we've seen? So fire back with that, guys. Alright, next piece of news, just a little sidetrack here. I have been watching Jessica Jones Season 2 on Netflix. That popped up, the day after my last podcast, I think, or something, on Netflix. I've been watching one episode a day, and to be honest, not working out too well, mainly because Season 2, I feel like, is a huge step down from what Season 1 was. I started watching Season 2, and a couple episodes in, I wasn't really into it, and I realized why. Kilgrave. Kilgrave is one of the best villains in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Again, if you can call the Netflix movies the Cinematic Universe. But he's fantastic. And the way he played off of Jessica and the kind of diatribe they had was so wonderful in that first season. And in this one, spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen it, she's going against her superpowered mom. Not as interesting a character or story as, say, Kilgrave, where his and her relationship was a metaphor for, a rape victim and her accuser or something along those lines. It just didn't work as well. So I got one more episode left. Tonight, I'm going to watch the last episode. I don't think it's probably going to change my mind about the season. And Jessica Jones herself, too, the character I feel like hasn't grown, not only since the first season of Jessica Jones, but also her part in Defenders 2. She's still the same old Jessica, which you don't want the character to completely change, but it'd be nice to see some character growth. And I don't feel like she's just that one note, I'm a rough, tough, drinking, badass chick. I'm like, we get it. It's boring at this point, okay? Show us something new. Show us something other than what the character originally was conceived as. So I'm going to finish that tonight. If anything changes, I will let you know as far as my feelings towards Jessica Jones Season 2. And I'll probably post on my actual Facebook site rating the Netflix seasons as well. I've been thinking about that while I was watching Jessica Jones. So I'll probably do that coming up in the next day or two. Okay, next up, guys, probably my favorite piece of news that came out within the last couple of days. Ava Duvernay, the director of A Wrinkle in Time and Selma, is working on a film, The New Gods, for DC Comics and Warner Brothers. This is all according to Deadline. Now, The New Gods, originally the brainchild of legendary comic book creator Jack Kirby. This world includes characters such as Darkseid, Big Barda, Granny Goodness, Orion, Metatron, and Mr. Miracle. Now, Mr. Miracle has a great comic book run going on right now by Batman and Vision writer Tom King. If you haven't read Mr. Miracle, go to your local comic shop, go online, start reading it. It's so great. So I know a lot of people aren't familiar with what the New Gods are. I was talking to my friend Josh yesterday at work, and I told him that Ava Duvernay was set to direct New Gods, and he's like, what? I was like, it's Darkseid. It's Darkseid and his whole world. So just give you a little brief history. Even I'm not a big New Gods fan, but I know at least the base of it. I'll go and tell you that. The New Gods are basically the story between these two worlds, New Genesis and Apocalypse. New Genesis is like a metaphor for heaven, run by Highfather. Apocalypse is run by Darkseid and is a metaphor for hell. And to keep the peace, this is the story that I like, at least as far as the New Gods. To keep the peace between the two worlds, they switched sons. So Darkseid gave his son to Highfather, which grew up to be Orion. And he treated him like a warrior, he's a prince, and he's, a really cool character. And then Highfather gave his son to Darkseid. And Darkseid took his son and threw him in the pits, made him a slave, tortured him, and ended up being Mr. Miracle. That's the part that I'm interested in, and hopefully the part they play off of. But that's kind of my understanding and what I like about the New Gods. It's almost playing off the Thor Asgard thing where you have the god of thunder and Odin and all that, but they're not really gods. They're just really superpowered beings that have lived a really long time. But Jack Kirby, he was instrumental in creating Thor's world, and after he got done with Marvel, he jumped over to DC and created all these characters as well, the New Gods. It's really trippy, which I haven't seen A Wrinkle in Time yet. I'm planning on seeing it actually today, but that looks really trippy, which could be up Ava DuVernay's alley. I liked Selma. I didn't love it. And so far, A Wrinkle in Time, to be honest, the trailers haven't got me super excited. The only reason I really want to see it now is because that Ava DuVernay is attached to New Gods. Lisa saw A Wrinkle in Time when it came out last weekend. She thought it was okay. I've heard that it's more of a kid's movie and not really anything spectacular for adults. Again, at this point, I just want to check it out to see what DuVernay can do with a fantasy world like this. Now, people are also saying this weekend, well, Wrinkle in Time is kind of a disappointment critic-wise. Why would they sign her on to do this? This deal was put in place weeks, if not months ago. It's not like they just decided, oh, well, Wrinkle in Time's coming out, let's get Ava DuVernay to do our next movie. No. This was all put in place before the film even came out. So it's not like just doing it all one weekend was the whole plan. That's not how it works, guys. And I think really we have to attribute a lot of this idea by DC to Thor Ragnarok, because Thor Ragnarok is nothing but Jack Kirby splattered all over it. I mean, he created, like I said, the old Stan Lee Jack Kirby stuff, the Rainbow Bridge, Beta Ray Bill, all that super far out cosmic weird stuff has Kirby written all over it in Thor Ragnarok. And of course, DC, always taking their step from what Marvel's doing, decides, hey, well, if it works for them, it can work for us. What do we have that's like that? Oh, we have the New Gods? Okay, let's do that. Now, here's where the issue comes in, because Darkseid was mentioned in Justice League and the DC Cinematic Universe, along with the Parademons and Steppenwolf. There are reports saying this will not be attached to the DC Cinematic Universe, much like Martin Scorsese and Todd Phillips' Joker film. And it just goes to show you again, nobody knows what the hell is going on at Warner Brothers and DC. We don't know, after the failure, really, of Justice League, what their plan is. We know still they're moving forward with Aquaman with Jason Momoa, because that's in post-production. They got Shazam, that's filming right now. They got Wonder Woman 2, that's in pre-production. Now, this New Gods film sounds cool. I'm not a huge fan of Ava DuVernay. Like I said, I think she's a pretty good director. I'm not going to say I'm against it, because I've seen Selma. I have faith in her. But it all comes down to how Warner Brothers treats her. Wonder Woman, I think, was good compared to the other DC films, because Patty Jenkins didn't let Warner Brothers executives push her around. DuVernay says she's a fan of the New Gods material. If she is, she needs to stick to her vision, and Warner Brothers and her need to sit down beforehand and be like, okay, this is what I want to do. Warner Brothers needs to come back and be like, okay, this is what we want you to do. They find the compromise, and then Duvernay goes and does it. And none of this, 70% through production, Warner Brothers changes it up. That can't happen. That's been a lot of the problems, is you get your director, you sit down before anything is shot, you agree on your vision, and then you let your director carry out that vision. What happened was, say, in something like the Han Solo film, is that Lucasfilm, Kathleen Kennedy, and what are the Lego guys? What are their names? I forget. Anyway, they were set to direct Han Solo. They agreed on a film to make. Those guys did not do that film, so then that's why they got fired. And Ron Howard was brought in to pretty much reshoot the film. In that case, yes, you get rid of your directors. You change the film. But where Warner Brothers, I think, is messing up is they agree on the film with the director. And then they need to stick to that vision. If the director, such as Ava Duvernay, goes off that vision that they agreed on, okay, then there's a problem. But Warner Brothers needs to get on the same page with their directors and let their directors direct. That's just what I had to say. And to be honest, I don't really know if this film's even go. It's just there's talks. It's not saying, yes, we're definitely doing this. Until cast is set, until it starts to film, nothing's said so. There have been numerous cases, especially within the Warner Brothers DC comic relationship, where film ideas have come out, such as the Death Superman Lives, the John Snepp thing, the Superman Lives film with Tim Burton and Nicolas Cage. That was about to shoot and got canceled. The George Miller Justice League film, that was about to shoot. The cast was set. That got canceled. All the films that Warner Brothers has announced that they want in their DC cinematic universe in the last couple of years, none of them have come to fruition, okay? Not going to happen. So until stuff actually starts filming, I will not believe it's going to happen. I'd like to see it. I think the New Gods is a cool concept. I trust Ava Duvernay as a director. But Warner Brothers executives need to get out of the way of their directors. You hire someone to do a job, let them do their job. Sorry. Anytime I talk about Warner Brothers news like this, it all goes back to my frustration with them, with a lot of people are frustrated with. But in any event, guys, that is going to be it for me today. I ran out of time. I got plenty of other stories to talk about that's been backed up for the last 2 weeks. We'll get there. We'll get there. We'll see what pops up in the next couple days. I'll do a show on Thursday. Whether I get to another one this week, we'll have to wait and see. But that's it. Fire back, guys. Let me know. What do you think? Ava Duvernay taking over for New Gods. Do you know who the New Gods are? Who's your favorite character? Do you want to know more about them? If you want to know more about them, I cannot highly recommend more. The Bruce Timm Justice League animated. There's 4 seasons. That's really, even for me, a guy who's read DC Comics, it expanded my knowledge of the characters of so much of what DC has to offer. If you go and you watch those 4 seasons of animated series, you'll realize just the plethora of characters Warner Brothers has to choose from with DC Comics, and get you even more frustrated that they're not expanding out past Batman and Superman to use more of them. But I think it's a 2-part in the Justice League about Apocalypse and New Genesis, and you get an idea of what they're all about. So go check that out if you wanted to learn more about them. And that's going to be it for today, guys. Fireback, the Facebook group, social media account, and of course, Dayspring Discussions at gmail.com. That's it for me today. Until next time, may the Force be with us all.